In this video, I'll be sharing the process for sprouting sweet potatoes in order to produce your own slips for planting. A sweet potato slip is simply a stem that has sprouted from a mature sweet potato and began to form some leaves and roots. By placing a few toothpicks into a sweet potato so that it can be submerged in water by about 2/3, the potatoes should be triggered to sprout and produce their own slips. In approximately 8 weeks, these sprouts will have produced enough roots so that they can be planted in the garden. What's up everybody, this is Scott from New Garden Road. I'm here to inform, inspire, and elevate you. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and spread the word. While you're at it, subscribe and get notified for more gardening action. I've always bought sweet potato slips from the nursery in the past. This year, I thought I would gamble and do something different, and I'm going to try to produce my own sweet potato slips. So this is a variety of sweet potato that I got at my local co-op. It's grown locally at a local farm. I'm using a couple of mason jars here, and there's 3 toothpicks in each one of these. If you use the round toothpicks, they should be sturdy enough to support them. The sweet potatoes set so they'll be submerged in water. I have one other one that I'm doing, it's larger, so I'm going to do a little compare and contrast. These are both really firm, healthy looking sweet potatoes. If you want to sprout your own sweet potato slips, give yourself about 12 weeks from the time that you begin the process to your target date of planting. That's going to build in some cushion. It's probably going to take about 8 weeks if things go perfectly. In Central Texas, beginning the middle of April through the end of June, we can plant our sweet potato slips. It's been 5 weeks to the day when I started sprouting these sweet potatoes. You can see this guy is really taken off. There is a lot of root development. Foliage is greening up. I've been getting them outside on the front porch. So I was estimating that it would take about 8 to 12 weeks before these would be ready to plant. It looks like this one is really close. Maybe another 3 more weeks and it'll be good to go. One thing that I found interesting is that they're all going at their own pace. They're all individuals. Just like if you go to the nursery and you buy 5 of the same plant, they may have slightly different growth habits. One may grow faster, one may grow slower, some will be healthier than others. They may all be really uniform. And so with these sweet potatoes, you can see this guy, he's definitely coming along. There's 1, 2, 3, a 4th one here. I don't know, 3 weeks, might not be ready. All right, so this is the last one. This is really interesting. It's had some shoots for quite some time, and unique from the other 2 potatoes, this one sprouted entirely from the top. These other 2, all the sprouts are coming from the bottom or the side of the sweet potato, and it's kind of interesting how different they are. The leaves have been developing for a while, but they haven't yet opened or started to green up. I don't really see any shoots below the water. There are at least 5 on top though. If I get 5 slips from each potato, then I'm gonna have about 15 plants. That's a pretty significant amount of sweet potatoes that you could grow in the garden. Hopefully I'll do better than that. If I'm estimating 15 right now, I'm feeling pretty good. So you can see how much progress they've made from March 10th. A couple of things that I've been diligent about with these is bringing them outside to get a little bit of fresh air, circulation, and some indirect sunlight. They're not getting any kind of full sun. They're getting morning indirect sun, which is probably helping the leaves green up on some of these. Also, I'm changing the water out weekly. These 2 here, I've noticed a little bit of algae forming in the bottom over the course of the week, so I'm giving that a little bit of a scrub when I change out the water, just trying to keep things clean. But otherwise, I'm not trying to fuss with them or mess with them too much. And quite honestly, this one here, with all the roots and the strong slips that are there, I'm a little bit unsure of how this is gonna go. It feels good coming in and out of there, but I don't wanna handle it any more than I really have to. So I absolutely think that some of these sweet potato slips are ready for planting. Today, I'm gonna make my assessment. I'm gonna remove some of the slips that are really well developed, and some of the others, I'll see what I have. I may wanna continue to root them further. This was probably the first one to really go wild, produce a lot of foliage, and to start growing. This potato slip right here has got a lot of length on it. This one was much slower to get growing, but as you can see, lots of root development, lots of foliage. It's got some really tall shoots on there. This last one that I want to show you was quite different. I felt like it was really unique. Initially, I started this in a larger plastic cup. This was a large sweet potato to begin with, so I couldn't fit it in a mason jar like the others. And what happened was this one uniquely started sprouting from the top. And what I noticed was the sprouts weren't actually submerged in water. Although it was beginning to sprout and produce slips, it wasn't producing roots. So So I transferred it into this larger pitcher, this container, so that I could submerge it in water further. And sure enough, it started to produce roots. It's hard to tell exactly how many slips I'm gonna end up with. I wasn't sure if I would need a pair of pruners like these needlepoint ones here. I think I could probably just snap them off. The main thing is you wanna just be careful to preserve the roots that they formed. All right, since they're really wet, it's pretty easy, but you gently tease them apart. You see, that doesn't have a tremendous amount of roots on it. It could probably still be planted, but what I'm gonna do for now is I'm gonna set it in a secondary glass of water. You can just take your sweet potato slip, put it in your glass of water, and give it another week or two, take advantage of some of that wiggle room, and let it root out further. All right, so this one is coming from the bottom of the potato, and it is really rooty down here. I'm gonna use the pruners because I just feel like that's the right thing to do right here. Really cool, check it out. That is a lot of roots on that guy. The roots have all massed together, so I'm gonna cut off a couple of other sprouts and see if that makes it easier. Gently tease this apart. Wow, look at all those roots. Awesome. This is so much fun. Just think about it. Each one of these sprouts could produce a cluster of 5 or 6 sweet potatoes. Yeah, so the roots are kind of matted together. So what I'm finding is that removing several slips all at once and then separately teasing them apart is working out better. You know, one thing that could be helpful would be to make up a batch of liquid seaweed from concentrate, and you could soak them in that for 10 or 15 minutes. That'll help you pull them apart more easily, stimulate those roots to produce more roots, get established, and help them with the stress of this teasing process. So that took a few minutes, but just being really patient and gentle, you can see how much of those roots I preserved. That is one sweet potato slip that you can plant in the ground straight away, and it is gonna be rocking and rolling in no time. Look at those roots. I mean, the store-bought sweet potato slips that I usually get don't have roots that sufficient. Bam! I mean, not that tall, but you know, you can plant it probably like that level. Dang. You can tell that the roots want to work with you. If you're just gentle and use that kind of tactile sensitivity, they'll kind of tell you what to do. You can feel which way they're trying to set free, and voila, the last 2. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9. I got 9 slips off of one sweet potato this size. Whoa, Nelly. Wow, beautiful. I think what I'm learning is that by starting some smaller sweet potatoes about this size comparatively, that's coming out really well from a smaller potato. So less money going into it there. Here, looks about like the same amount of slips, but I've spent a little bit more money based on the size of this sweet potato. We did it. Out of 3 sweet potatoes, I've got 24 sweet potato slips. I've got about 8 of them here in this glass, and I'm gonna let those root out further for about 2 more weeks. We're just shy of 2 weeks on letting these sweet potato slips root out. This is the glass of the sprouts that I left to develop further. Let's check them out. Look at that. Very nice. Oh yeah. They've done really well in just 2 more weeks of sitting in water on the front porch. They've gotten a lot of root development and they're ready for planting. All right, so we'll take one of these that I left to develop for a couple more weeks and compare that with one that had already established a substantial root system, and you can see there's still quite a difference. This is plenty of roots to plant, and this is perfectly sufficient. I have thoroughly enjoyed producing my own sweet potato slips. If these produce as well as I suspect they will, I'll likely never go back to store-bought sweet potato slips ever again. Time to plant some sweet potatoes. Oops. Oops. Spilled a little water. Really, really cool stuff. That's cool. Ha! Now that you know just how to produce your very own sweet potato slips, check out some of these other awesome gardening videos on my channel, like this one for how to grow your own sweet potatoes from slips. You can grow your own food, keep it organic.